Okay, that wraps up the wines, our best-selling wines. The ones we talked about, or the ones I talked about today, along with showing you the label of each wine. Those are the best-selling wines that we have in the portfolio. Over the last year, those wines have done the best. No rhyme or reason to that other than price and quality. They're all brand new to the U.S. People are excited that there is new Italian wine on the market and that it's traditional, classic, old world Italian wine. So people are excited. There's a big buzz about our wines, specifically in the southeast, where our immediate family has the territory. So we're excited about that as well. There are a couple of vineyards I did not talk about that are in the portfolio. Villa Artemino is one of the vineyards. That is the private vineyard to the royal family of Italy, the Medici family. Um, you can let your clients know that we do represent the royal family and their wines. We tend not to show and pour those wines just because of the low yield. There's not a lot of those wines available, and they're fairly expensive. But they're niche boutique kind of wines for high-end restaurants, high-end wine shops. So they have their time and place, but it's a pretty specific time and place when you want to introduce those wines. And you don't want to crack open a $200 bottle of wine to pour for one guy that may or may not buy. So that's one vineyard we didn't talk about. I didn't go into the Valpanera vineyard. There are two wines that we sell pretty good from there. Uh, this vineyard is in the region of Friuli, and for the most part in the U.S., wines from Friuli are hard to get. They're hard to import into the U.S. Luckily, we have Andrea and Lorenzo out in Santa Monica that handle all that for us, and they're able to get those wines. The two that we have the most success with are the Refosco DOC, which is 100% Refosco. It's a very rare grape to the U.S., made popular by Casablanca. There's a whole story revolving around that. And then the white wine called Bianca di Valpanera. It's a fantastic, unique white wine. It's our only co-op wine that we do. Every other wine is single vineyard, single vintage. This is a co-op wine, which means they're still single vintage grapes, all grapes from the same year, but they come from different plots of land in Friuli. And the reason they do that, they found that this specific blend makes a one-of-a-kind white. It's Chardonnay dominant, but it has the three grapes are Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, and Tokai. And it's really the Tokai grape in this wine that makes it unique. It's a fantastic white wine. It's not that pricey, 14, 15 bucks. And it sells pretty good because it's unique and nobody's ever seen anything like it. So all that's in your wine specs and winemaker notes. If you want to show that to somebody, let me know and I'll get it to you. But it's a great, they do some really great wines. When you're out talking about the company, remember to let everyone know that this is a family-based company. From making the wine to import-export of the wine to distributing the wine, there are no layers in the middle. Everybody that touches this wine is a part of the three-family conglomerate that makes and brings this wine to the U.S. So a lot of people may comment or they may be wowed by the fact that our prices are low compared to other distributors, but it's just because there's nobody in the middle. We don't have to pay somebody to go distribute the wine, or we don't have to pay somebody to import the wine. It's all done by family. So it keeps the cost down, and people aren't used to seeing a 100% Sangiovese for $9, but that's the true value of that wine. They're just used to paying 14, 15 for it. Layers of markup. If Southern Wines or Ben Arnold were to distribute our wine, these wines would be marked up 30, 40, 50% before they're sold to the wine shops and the restaurants. So a key selling point for us is there are no layers of markup in the middle. That's why our wine is as low as it is. Um, private label. It's a totally different bear. We do private label work. You guys, everybody knows by now that we do some private label work for Disney Incorporated and some other clients. Disney being the biggest. But private label, if you start a conversation with somebody about private label, or they ask you about that, I need to be brought on board and need to be in that conversation, because the margins change and the commission structure changes, because there's very little markup in private label, because the client has to commit to a large amount of wine per grape, per varietal. If somebody comes to you and they want to do a private label Chianti, they have to commit to 112 cases of Chianti. There's a guy here in Greenville that wanted 4 different private label wines. He's committed to 112 cases per varietal. So 4 different wines at 112 cases per. So it's a big commitment. A lot of the cash is up front, and we kind of structure that a little bit differently. So I need to be involved in all private label communications with your clients. One thing we try to do, we're very face-to-face, hand-to-hand kind of company. One motto I like for us to have is one for all and all for one. Nobody needs to be stingy with accounts. If there's an account that's been sitting on your list for 4 months and you haven't sold, give another rep a shot at it. Maybe it takes a different pitch or a different face just to go in and sell that wine. But don't be so narrow-minded that you hold on to account or hold on to an account with hopes that it may be good, but you haven't gotten anywhere with it in the last year. That's no good for you. It's no good for the business. And at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's a business. It's about making money, selling as much wine as we can sell, and making as much money as we can make. So don't be selfish with the accounts. It makes the business more fruitful when we can sell to everybody, and it allows everybody to keep their job, including me. So just remember that when you have certain accounts on there that that you're not getting anywhere with, pass them along to somebody else, or we'll pass them along for you. I hope these videos are somewhat helpful, putting a story and a name of the grape with the label, kind of recognizing both ends of that. And if anybody has any suggestions on how these can be done better, obviously this is my first attempt at doing these, from a suggestion of Susan, one of our reps in Columbia. So hopefully it benefits everybody, but suggestions are welcome, and I'm sure there'll be more videos to come. Call me if you have any questions.